Hey guys, welcome back to Kiwi Classics and the Alpine, part 15. Still got some work to do at the front end here. I know we talked about last time getting onto the rear suspension, but we've still got a bit of work to do up the front. As tempting as that is, I really want to get the car on 4 wheels, but got to get the front in order first. So today we're going to be getting these bad boys in place, so it will actually hold the front up. Out in American coilover shocks. Now, not the biggest looking coilover we've ever seen, but all will be revealed. You don't need a super long one because of the design of the front suspension. You have a multiplication factor, so of like 1.6. We'll get into that in a minute. It's a little bit hard to just verbally explain it without images. So yeah, let's pop this wheel off. That out of the way. Put that off camera there. Right, let's get you guys in closer. Okay, so here's our coilover. No coil, but that's what we need. So now it's a gas shock, so that's fully extended. What Welder Series provide are these, the brackets that are going to mount the coilover, and it's way oversized, because they don't know exactly what you're going to be molding it into, and it is a somewhat of a universal kit. They give you these, this is neat, little cardboard templates, and it's quite a heavy cardboard, and that's laser cut, I think, to match the steel ones. So rather than trying to cut and trim this quarter plate and whittle away at it to get it to fit, you get to do it in cardboard. So this kind of has to go down here and fit in behind. Now, right now it's way too big, way too tall. Let's see, we'll get you a little closer. Let's try to see whether you can see that or not. But yeah, this template's too long, and it's coming too far out. It won't even fit in behind the arm. So I've already been working away and trimmed one up to where I'm happy with it, which is this one. So you can see quite a difference in size. That's kind of how that was just a pair of scissors and just snip away at it. Kind of like arts and craft back in school, So that is going to sit down there. That's about the right, because that's at the full droop height of the suspension that I want. And what happens is a bolt goes through like so. It does have a spacer here to keep it wide enough to clear the shocks, and that's going to go kind of about there. Try and get you a real close and Bob, which again on my own filming today. So now that shock will kind of sit out, and that's going to go in there against the rail. One each side, probably some bracing or gusseting somewhere, I suspect, to make sure it's going to get the job done, because that does, this particular piece of metal, when it's metal, will carry the weight of the whole front of the car, every last, other than the unsuspended weight of the the rotors and stuff like that, but engine, transmission, all that stuff, the whole body of the car, or the front half of it, is going to be riding on this bracket. There's 4 of them, but still it needs to be strong. All right, so I am going to transfer that to my big bracket, trim it around, mock it up, see how we go. I'll be back. I'm going to throw some sparks, cutting this out, and I'll be back. Okay, got it kind of all mocked up, ready to weld in. So let's have a quick look at what I've been doing. So you can see we got the brackets. Yeah, it's a little bit of grinding, and the cardboard templates, it got me pretty close, and then it was just a little bit of grinding on some of the fine shapes, but you can see that's pretty snug in there. And same on the back. Oop. And yeah, all our, you know, things are where they need to be. It just needs to be held in a little snugger. So the tricky bit is I do have to weld, or at least tack these in, get good tacks on with the shock absorber there, just to kind of keep everything where it needs to be. So what I'm going to do is just use a little, I don't want the splatter getting on the shock, because if it lands on the threads, that'll be difficult, that'll be just a pain to to clean them up. But if it lands on the shaft of the shock, the actual hydraulic shaft, that'll be the end of the shock. So I don't want that, so I'm going to get a bit of, that's what this is doing here, a little bit of old scrap metal. I'm going to sneak that up in here, put that there, and then we can just do a little couple of decent sized tacks down here. Same on the back side. And then I will run the suspension through its articulate, the way it articulates, and I'll show you what I'm talking about with travel and all that sort of stuff. So let me get that buzzed in so we can actually run it through its travel, and I'll be back in a minute. See ya. Okay, got it kind of all mocked up, ready to weld in. So let's have a quick look at what I've been doing. So you can see we got the brackets. Yeah, it's a little bit of grinding, and the cardboard templates got me pretty close. And then it was just a little bit of grinding on some of the fine shapes, but you can see that's pretty snug in there. And same on the back. Oop. And yeah, all our, things are where they need to be. It just needs to be held in a little snugger. So the tricky bit is I do have to weld, or at least tack these in, get good tacks on with the shock absorber there, just to kind of keep everything where it needs to be. So what I'm going to do is just use a little, I don't want the splatter getting on the shock, because if it lands on the threads, that'll be difficult, that'll be just a pain to to clean them up. But if it lands on the shaft of the shock, the actual hydraulic shaft, that'll be the end of the shock. So I don't want that, so I'm going to get a bit of, that's what this is doing here, a little bit of old scrap metal. I'm going to sneak that up in here, put that there, and then we can just do a little couple of decent sized tacks down here. Same on the back side. And then I will run the suspension through its articulate, the way it articulates, and I'll show you what I'm talking about with travel and all that sort of stuff. So let me get that buzzed in so we can actually run it through its travel, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so got the brackets tacked in. I can kind of show you the articulation of the suspension now. So everything's going through its motions like it should. Let's lift in the body. Yeah. So there's a fair bit of math and figuring out just where I wanted the shock absorber to land. There's different kind of schools of thought as to where, how much droop you should have and how much bump or compression you should have. I like to have more bump than or compression than droop. I don't want to be bottoming out on those compressions in the road, the dips in the road, bump potholes, whatever you want to call them. Because that really unsettles the car, and I would rather give up a little bit of droop. The car's going to corner pretty flat anyway, so it's not like it's going to be lurching over like an old 49 Ford. And needing to hang the wheel way down so it's trying to touch the ground. This is not going to lean a lot. The center of gravity is going to be very low. So I've set it up with like 1.5 inches of droop, and about, what did it work out at? About 3 inches of compression. So yeah. Now the way the leverage system works with these Mustang 2 style front suspensions is because the shock's fairly well inboard. It's not quite halfway, but between the inner pivot point, and the contact patch of the tyre, which is out about here somewhere, it works out at about a 1.6 ratio. So you know, for every inch you've got on the shock, you get about 1.6 inches of movement out at the wheel. So while it's a 3-inch travel shock, we've got like 4.5, a little bit more of travel out here at the wheel. So the shock has to be designed slightly differently. It's got to have a little bit heavier valving than like a rear shock, which is 1-to-1. You know, every inch of movement of the wheel you get is an inch of movement in the shock absorber. With this setup, with the independent, yeah, there's a ratio to be factored in. On this design setup, it's about 1.6. But you know, some of the modern cars have a McPherson strut style, which is a big strut that's right out here close to the wheel, and that's much more 1-to-1. This system is not. We don't have anywhere to put a McPherson strut. And they're not the best thing in the world anyway. But yeah, that's kind of full compression. We've got just a whisker of clearance here. We've got a little bit of clearance here. Everything's fitting together like it should, so I'm pretty pleased. All I really got to do now is button down the other side. Now that's going to be a lot quicker because I've already done all the math. I know the heights, the droops, all that fun stuff. And you know, I could go into a lot of detail about that and spend 20 minutes trying to explain that stuff to you, but this is a fairly custom setup. Typically if you're going to put one of these into a Mustang, or you know, a lot of aftermarket suspension kits, all this heights and droops and compressions are all worked out for you. So and it's certainly not you know, something that the weekend warrior wants to sort of delve into. If you get these on in the wrong place, you make yourself a lot of work. So yeah, but yeah, and a lot of it is just a tape measure, mocking it into place, jacking it up and down, measuring how far it's hanging, how high it's going, and yeah, just really basic math. So it's not too bad, but it's you'd want to have someone on board with you, unless you are pretty sharp at that already. You want someone on board with you that can just be there to back up your theories, and you'd be fine. So yeah, I'm going to jump on the other side, get that done in, burned in, and get the actual springs on there. And we'd actually be able to, I don't know that I'll put it on the ground just yet, but in theory we could. So yeah, pretty happy with the progress today. That's a fairly short video this time around, guys. I'm kind of running out of day a little bit. This did take a little bit longer than I figured, but you know, that's often the way, isn't it? So next job is the Welder Series anti-roll bar, which is again a custom application, because while this is Mustang componentry, it's not a Mustang. So yeah, there's a bunch of differences. So that's going to be too long to tag on to the end of this one, this video. So that's it on this one. It's a quick one. Hope you enjoyed it. You know, another job done. All right, fellas, I'll see you on the next one.